Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cosmic Metamorphosis. My name is Kat, and today is Thursday, January 27th of 2022. Wow, I can't believe January is almost gone already. Time is definitely speeding up for sure. I don't know how the rest of you are feeling, but I think for me, just going back to work too, like I just feel like the days, like when I'm at work, it goes by so slow and I'm so ready to go home after 8 hours. But I feel like I'm just missing out on my life again. Like when I didn't work, I was able to do the things I wanted to do whenever I wanted. And of course, when you are a slave to the matrix and the system, you don't get to do what needs to be done. And I'm really missing it. I'm really missing it. So I don't necessarily hate my job, but it's a job. It pays the bills, right? Like most people. It doesn't take a whole lot of brain to do what I'm doing, but it's not what I want to be doing. That's for sure. So anyway, there has been a lot going on, and it seems like every day there's something new. And yeah, I don't even get to watch like the videos. I used to be able to have time all day long to like watch and see what news is coming in and out. And man, it's been I've not been able to watch the people that I follow a whole lot. But what's going on right now is the truckers right now in Canada. And I think that is absolutely fabulous. So I am so proud of you, Canada. I am so proud of you. And I love the fact that the US truckers are joining in. There is over 50,000 truckers in the US who are joining with this. I can't say it's going to be great for the supplies, which are already in short. All of our products are in short supply. We have empty shelves everywhere, but if this is what it takes to make a stand, then this is what we need to do. And I wanted to share with you a little video that I saw, and it just made me cry because it's a bunch of children thanking these truckers. So I want to share that with you guys before we get into it. So let me share my screen.
And just hang out with friends and family, go to the beach. I'm just gonna go have fun, truckers, and thank you all. Thank you, truckers. Hi, my name is Gabriel. I'm from Manitoba. I'm turning 13 years old tomorrow, and I just wanted to say best birthday gift ever, having you guys fighting for us. I am so glad for you, truckers. You rock.
Hi, my name is Matthew. I'm 12 years old, and I'm from Alberta, and I just want to say you guys are awesome. Keep on trucking.
Good night, truckers. Thank you. Assassination, Canada, truckers.
I got a little guy here that wants to say something to the truckers.
Thank you, truckers. Hi, my name is Matt. I'm 6. Go truckers. Have a good night. God bless. Hello, I'm Kalia. I'm 10 years old. I come from Manitoba. I just wanted to thank you guys for what you did. I'm praying for you. I love you guys.
Hi, my name is AJ, and I'm 8 years old, and I would just like to say thank you for all you guys do. My mom always says, you got it, a truck brought it. Thank you, truckers, for standing up for us.
And I am 8 years old. And thank you for anything you do. I'm Austin and some Mac mine, and be glad you're doing put up the truck scene. And I'm glad you want some hello, and I really thank you when you're doing it.
Thank you for fighting for my freedom. Good night.
Thank you, truckers.
Thank you, truckers, for being our heroes. This is Shanna from Pitcher Creek, Alberta. We love you.
I work at a daycare and I have a 5-year-old son. You're doing more than giving us back our freedom. You're giving the children back their childhood. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Hi, my name is Clara from Drumheller, and have a nice drive. God bless you.
Oh my gosh. Sorry about that. Like, it just makes me cry. Like, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing it for. We're doing it for our kids, for our grandkids, for future generations. We are fighting for them. Okay. I'm sorry. I get really emotional when it comes to children. They're our future, you guys. So we got to fight for them. So anyway, I thought I would share that because I thought that was just so sweet and so heartfelt. I loved it. So thank you, truckers. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you. Because no one thinks about how they get their product to their house. It's truckers. It's railroads, it's airplanes, it's all this transportation that helps get us what we need. So thank you so much for what you're doing. So thank you. Anyway, let me stop crying. Today we're going to talk about Alex Colliers' webinar 149 from January 21st. So there's a lot of information on that. So I'll run down some information and some questions that were asked. I'll try and say it as best as he said it. So let's get into it. He says, if you haven't heard, the National Guard, so our National Guard here in the US, is now in all 50 states. They are at DEFCON 3, which means that they would be ready to go in 15 minutes when the word is given. Military families, there's been somebody saying, and we don't know how true it is, but that all communications have gone dark. So they are not allowed to be contacting their family and friends. And usually what that means is that we are ready to go at any minute. So any day now. We are past that year point. And my last video, I said I had that flash of 120, 121. And I think, you know, that was the end point of this year of having been taken over by the Biden administration, which was fake and false and illegal. And so now we're past a year and we're basically just waiting for the word. If you follow anything in the communications with this backboard here, the letter 17, everything has been green. Every communication within the military has been green, which is a green light for go. So we're just sitting here waiting patiently for something to happen. He says the Arizona voting machines were not certified, which means that every vote was illegal. He said California also did the same thing. Their voting machines were not certified, so every vote was illegal in California and Arizona. He said in Wisconsin, Wisconsin, there were 569,277 registered voters. And I guess many of those were from like the year 1918, which makes them over 100 years old. And 115,252 all voted for Biden. So we know there's shenanigans in Wisconsin, of course we do. He said In the early 2000s, Trump was actually asked to join MJ-12, Majestic 12. If you don't know what that is, go do some research on that. As far as our space programs, there's one military and one corporate. He said in 2016 primaries, Trump, he said he was the stable genius in an interview. The Q team gave him that moniker. So MJ-12 and the Q team work together. Information is still classified that there's no communication through any devices, no phones, emails, etc. He says members on both teams are members of both. There are some that are members of both Q and MJ-12. There was an infiltration of Majestic 12 under the Bush administration. And if you don't know already, the Bush family is of Nazi background. The alliance, the White Hats wanted Trump to run for president in 2008, but he wasn't ready and he chose his family. And during the time that Majestic 12 was infiltrated, a lot of the information that they were researching showed up on the servers in the Clinton Foundation. Of course it did. So the DOJ, FBI, and other Black Ops programs shared this information with commercial companies when it wasn't supposed to be. That will be coming out as well. So 2016, Trump decides he's going to run, and of course he wins. And that's when, of course, Hillary had a breakdown, and basically he called them the cult of death. They knew they were history. They knew they were going down. So even back then in 2016 and before, they knew that our US dollar was going to asset-backed currency of gold and silver and other metals. And then, of course, we had delays, and then we ended up getting the kufu. So Alex says many things started before the kufu began, and then it magically appeared in 2020. He says, but there's so much more going on than we know. Yes, the rabbit hole goes a lot deeper than we think it does. He says Halliburton, which is an energy company, or it started out as an energy company, was founded by Lolo Soetoro. His key operatives that worked with him were George Bush and Dick Cheney. Lolo was well known at that time when it was founded in the 50s as a head of assassination squads throughout the South Pacific. And he was very good at it. The CIA and MI6 contracted him out several times. Lolo, when he moved to the States with his stepson and George Bush Jr. were very close and saw each other every day. So, of course, who do you know? Who do you think that is? Yes, Lolo's son was Barry Soetoro, or Obama. As I like to say, the Antichrist, because I knew for the second term, I knew he was the Antichrist. I knew it. All these families are tied together, he said. Of course, they all know each other. We think they don't. They play it off like they don't know each other, but they do. They go way, way back. JFK's assassination, we were told it was either the Cubans or the CIA did it. He says, but we were not told that people that worked for Lolo Soetoro were there at the time of JFK's death. And he said we will hear about that information soon. So, isn't that interesting? I said in my last video or a couple of videos back about our history because of the mud floods, and we're just now finding out about Tartaria and all these places that have been buried under these mud floods. About our history, our timeline is off. And I thought like maybe we're 1,000 years off. Maybe we're in year 3000 something. But Alex actually says our history is off by 10,000 to 100,000 years. Wow. Wow. Everything we have been told is incorrect, which I have said before. And of course, it was done intentionally so that we would know nothing about our history, where we come from. He says, when the final move is made to take the cabal down, many things will occur. He says it is important to understand that the white hats, they control Majestic 12 and RQ, and they are extraordinary human beings. Yes, they are. Those that are a part of the active Space Force are equally extraordinary. Yes, they are. It's amazing. They are amazing humans. Not humans. They're like guardian angels, basically. They have had ongoing experience with off-world beings for many, many years. He says many are multi-dimensional, fifth and maybe even sixth dimensional. So yeah, they've been working with ETs for quite a while. Many things behind the scenes are going on so that there is the least amount of harm done to our planet and our population. So when everyone gets in this uproar about it's not happening fast enough, or they said this would happen on this day and nothing is happening, it is because they don't live in a linear time like we think we live in, because that's how we're taught, is that we live in this linear time. And as we move up in frequency and dimensions, there is no time. These beings, these races, live in past, present, future all at the same time, and they're able to time travel, and they're able to go to wherever they need to. So we need to understand as humanity on this planet that it will happen when it needs to happen, and that we can't look at dates, that we have to look at special events, which are markers. So like the next event we're looking for is the market crashing. So we've seen it dip really low, and then it's come back up a little bit, and then dip really low, and then we see like internet shortages. We see internet places and companies being hacked. We see all these things happening slowly, but it can't happen all at once. Like a lot of us want it to, we just want it over with, but we have to understand that things have to be done in a way that it's not going to harm the population of this planet or the planet itself. So he says, I assure you that it's well in hand. The situation that we are in is well in hand. So do not fear. Okay, guys, they have this. We've already won. It's just playing out. So try not to fear or get depressed. We just have to take it day by day. We will get through this, and it will be wonderful. Then he started talking about basically like cars. Our electric cars that we have nowadays aren't as great as we were told, and how they're always getting stuck. Either they can't plug in to get the energy, or if like there's a snowstorm, the cars are getting stuck because they can't have electricity. Basically, he says, we're going to have all this free technology come in, cars that will run on water, and up to you'll be able to get 150 miles to the gallon. He said, of course, all of this technology was suppressed by the oil companies. We know that. There have been attempts to change the fuel misting, he calls it, which is 17.4% right now in carburation. And he said what it needs to go to is 21 to 22% misting. He says if it does change, there will be no emissions out of your tailpipe of your car, and your car will run way more efficiently, and it will waste less fuel. There were attempts to change it, of course, but they haven't, and instead they added the catalytic converter to our cars to help control the pollution, is what they've told us. But instead, that basically by adding that to our cars, it increases the price of your cars to $1,000, if not more. I know I've had problems with my catalytic converter not starting on my car, and thank God we had a mechanic that was able to basically jerry rig it so that we didn't have to pay thousands of dollars to get it fixed. He said that Alex said that his car to get his fix was like over $3,000 to replace. So they've done all this stuff intentionally to put us in debt with everything. He said, of course, we are going back to 1871, the 1871 Constitution. So any law or contract since then, since 1871, is null and void. There's going to be a heck of a lot of stuff changing, guys. A lot of stuff. Because, of course, we're not a corporation of the United States anymore. We will be the Republic. He said true money is gold and silver. He said currency is the fiat paper. And I don't know how many of you have seen or heard things, but like currency, that has to do with water. Just like the river bank, the banks were called, our banks are called banks for a reason. It deals with money, currency. That's all maritime law, on the water law, just like your birth certificate. Yeah, look into that part. It's just amazing that the wording that they have used in our language to deceive us is just freaking mind-blowing sometimes. He says all countries' governments will be taken down, and there will be a board of people put in place. So he said all the white hats have already selected who will be involved with these boards, and it's only going to be about 7 or 8 people. They're going to be honest politicians, honest patriots, and military. They will be the ones to hold down the fort, and they will be the ones to disseminate information about what has been going on and what has been happening. They will begin educating the people and what will happen next, and as far as new elections and new constitutions. Because of course the narrative on the Khufu is crashing, and it's crashing very fast lately. It seems like every day, every couple of days, something's going on. You know, we've got places in Europe now that have completely, or the UK, that are getting rid of all the mandates and the passports and the masks. And I'm like, when is the US going to follow this? When? Because we need to follow this too. I'm so tired of that crap. Yeah, so narrative is crashing, economy is crashing, and of course we all know the elites wanted the Great Reset. They wanted to take us further into slavery, but the white hats in the alliance set a trap. He said, and we are there. We are in it right now. It's just any day now. Any day now, things could flip. He says it's very important that going forward for our future, that everyone must be able to critically think, meaning thinking for themselves instead of depending on someone to tell you what to do. So no more watching stuff on TV, no more watching this news, this fake crap. And you need to follow your own soul, your own heart. Okay. You don't need to listen to anyone else. You do what you need to do. Okay. So we all need to be critically thinking for ourselves. He says, because everything is going to change. And I've said that before in many videos. Everything is going to be wiped clean and everything will change. Every aspect of our lives is going to change. We're all going to be like babies and toddlers again, and we're all going to be relearning our true history and how things are done and how to eat and what's proper and what's right for us, what's moral, yeah, he said, like, basically, like, what we eat, how we eat, what we think. Our music is going to change. The frequency of our music will change back to 432, which is the hertz that we're supposed to be listening to. Movies, he says, will be changing because of all the messages in the movies or TV shows. Some will be removed. Some will be destroyed because of the subliminal messages and programming in them, because it was done intentionally to disempower and disengage us. He said, of course, the weather manipulation, that will change, and it will, if we use it, it's going to be for the better so that we don't have like droughts anymore. We don't have in the winter 6 feet of snow in one area and it takes out all of our crops. So things like that are going to change. No more homelessness. He said a lot of these like celebrities that are selling their homes for money, he said a lot of these places will be turned into places for the homeless to live. So he said the med beds we're supposed to start coming out in January. We're almost, a few days away from January ending. They have not been announced. There's been a slight delay in that because of people still getting sick because of this. He says, of course, no more I was following orders. So basically any doctor, nurse, pharmacist, anyone giving these will be tried at the new Nuremberg Code trials. They will be tried because he says, you're either a human being and you're for your own race or you're not. Like these people didn't even look into the ingredients in this crap, and they're giving it out to people. So they will have to answer. They will. He says basically like what we're going through right now, he says this is exactly how it is supposed to go down. He says, quote, because I trust the A's, the Andromedans, and his contact, Mornay, trusts the groups in the alliance, all the intel that was given to the surface of the earth, basically, like that, he trusts that. And basically, it's a done deal. It's done. It's done. It's over. We're just waiting for it to spill out into the public. Yeah, he says we're just waiting for it to go. Be patient. Be patient. And I said in a video a long time ago, the meek shall inherit the earth. Meek, if you look at one of the definitions, it means patient and humble. So the meek shall inherit the earth. He said for the condition for global contact is that all countries will have to dismantle all nuclear plants, nuclear systems, and nuclear weapons, because it does affect other dimensions. I said that in the last video. When a nuclear bomb goes off, it basically rips a hole into other dimensions as well. So it doesn't just affect us, it affects many, many other systems. But he said the technology that is going to become available, it will be able to age process nuclear waste. It will basically speed up the breakdown of the nuclear waste. And he said within 2 years, and in some cases 2 weeks, it will be cleaned up. He says it will return to dust, and it will be returned to the soil or be taken elsewhere. That is going to be awesome. He said, of course, this plan that we are in, that we've been going through, this great reset, this plan goes back hundreds of years, and in case of religions, back thousands of years, and it was done by the dark deities and demons. We all know that by now if you watch my channel. He said we will be overwhelmed on how we were deceived on every level in every system. And I've said that before too. Like, even like I feel like I'm still awake, and I know I've pretty much known my whole life what's been going on. It's just now becoming public, and more people are knowing about it. But like, I'm sure I'm gonna even be flabbergasted at things that are gonna come out that we're gonna find out about. So he said 138 star nations out there in our space are there to make sure that this plan goes down the right way and that humanity has a chance. If anything goes wrong, the white hats of the alliance will intervene. So they're basically like our guardian angels right now. Okay, that's not a 666. Sorry, that's not into that. We are genetic royalty. We have a connection to these star nations and families. And he says, you have never, or you were never, your soul was never hatched on Earth. You are a part of something much bigger, and you always have been. You just don't remember. So basically, yeah, we've always been and always have been, but we've lived many, 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 many thousands, if not millions of lives on many different planets in many different solar systems. And we decided to come here on this planet at this time to see this through, to see humanity return to sovereignty. We are here. Those of us here on this planet, we are the ground crew. Okay. You may not be involved in things going on behind the scenes, but you are living here. You are living here at this time. You are living through this hell. And we are the ground crew. Okay. We are the front lines. So anyone surviving this, you are very powerful. Very. We just don't remember. Okay, and then we get into some questions. So I might not have every word from the question right, but pretty close. There was a question, a recent video by Megan Rose releasing information from Valnek, her source from the Galactic Federation, is contrary to what we are hearing from Elena Denan and Michael Sala. What's really going on with the Cabal? Can we get more information from the A's or Andromedans? I don't want to talk bad about anybody. Basically, you will follow who you resonate with, okay? I knew there was something. I tried to watch her, and there was just something about her that was off, and I just felt it. Like I didn't really resonate with her. But he flat out said that she's compromised. And he says it doesn't matter what she says, she's compromised. And now she's pretending that she's the victim. So if you follow her, just if she still resonates with you, follow her. Like that's your journey. I don't tell anybody not to follow certain people. You're going to follow and resonate with who you think is right, and that's fine. But I thought that was interesting. And then if you follow Elena Denan, she posted a little, several paragraphs about that on her Telegram page. So I thought that was interesting. Another question is, it has been said that the 500 arcs of the Cedar races, Seeder, Cedar races are approaching, and buried arcs are becoming active. Will this event boost a rise in human consciousness? So arcs are basically ships. And a lot of them, we're finding out, have been on this planet for a very long time, and they are becoming active now. And Yellow Rose for Texas, in some of her videos too, she calls them arcs. Okay, and then when we all separate here, if we separate, she talks about like certain people going to their family arcs. So Alex says, I don't know how much to say, and he kind of laughs. He didn't want to say too much. He said, but let's just say yes. Remarkable things about these arcs is that they go back hundreds, if not thousands, maybe millions of years old. They are still some are still operational. And he jokes and says, the alien races didn't build Pintos. They didn't build crappy equipment, okay? He says there's mining equipment in the rings of Saturn and Uranus, and they have been operable and idle for tens and thousands of years. And yet when we approach it, everything turns on. He says it's extraordinary. Some arcs have biological life on board. He says they still have plants. He says some of them have forests inside, things of that nature, because they were built to be self-sustaining, and the ship is alive. He says it's technically a med bed itself. And that totally, when he said that, reminded me of Battlestar Galactica. These Cylon Raider ships, they look like ships, metal, just ships on the outside. But when Starbuck found one, she crawled up inside of it, and there was like blood and guts, and it was all organic. And they called the Cylons, basically said those ships were alive, and they're organically alive, and that they were kind of like pets to them. So it's interesting that they say that he said that, yeah, like these ships are organically alive. And so he says, which is why everything is alive and in balance, and it's instructed just to do that. Keep everything inside of it alive and thriving. He says he wouldn't be surprised if these arcs are brought in so that we can work on them when we have the disclosure about them, if that already has not begun. And he says, as we become comfortable with these, we may be able to take these arcs for journeys. Like Star Trek. Gosh, how much fun is that? And that's just like Passengers, a movie. And the ship, yeah, like there's a whole area inside that's like at the end that there's trees and grass, and you wouldn't even know like that it wasn't really outside on the planet, but you're in a ship. He said it would change everything we know about science. And then he says the transition from 3D to 4D to 5D could happen very quickly, depending on the consciousness of this planet and the people on it. Once our third strand of DNA is turned on, we will have full consciousness, which I have said before, full consciousness, and we will remember all of our past lives. Okay, we will have so much more knowledge. He says those will be amazing times for humanity, and the best was saved for last. And then someone asked a question about Nasara Gasara, and he said, yes, it is very real. It was actually signed during Clinton when he was president, because he was forced to sign it in the 90s. He says, do your research on that. He says, if someone is speaking out against it, basically saying it's not real, he says they're on the wrong side. But he says it may not be word for word of what it was originally, but changes were made, and changes were made to benefit humanity. So, of course. And he said, Visaya said it best, and I love this saying of, why do you have to pay to live on a planet you were born on? I love that saying because it's true. Why? Why should we have to pay for anything? We were born on this planet. The planet takes care of us and we take care of the planet. We're supposed to be the guardians. And yet we've been turned into slaves for these elite families. You know, it's just been crap. So Alex says, guys, as he says, guys, it's all good. It's all going to be good. He says, the goal of it is that we're here at the end when all this comes down. Another question, what do you say about National Guard being active in all 50 states? And he said, basically, they're just waiting on orders again. And then he said, remember that a couple of years ago, 50,000 of these National Guards were deputized. They were deputized. So that means when the word go goes and they are active on our streets, they have the ability to arrest anyone, including government officials. That's the storm. That is the storm. Like I said before, when we get the go, we will be in the storm and you will see all these National Guard take over and you're going to see massive arrests. There's already been a couple of people committing suicide because they don't want to, they know where they're going. I forget who. I was like, oh, suicide weekend is coming. Oh my. Another question was Tonga, the Tonga island volcano, was that natural or was it were the domes being taken out, basically? That wasn't the exact question, but he said that it was intentional and that there are these islands all over the planet that are not on any map. These were places, these were islands for the elites to go for refuge. when they wanted to let off all these nuclear bombs, they were going to go either underground or on these islands for refuge. Again, there was a plan to have Hillary win in 2016 and then have a nuclear war with Russia, eliminating most of the world's population. These facilities on these islands were to house the elites for up to 5 years. He says there's even one outside of DC, which was not Mount Weather. He says there's others as well. It's an underground mall, and they would be able to stay in there for 3 to 5 years. He said those have been taken out, and he said that volcano was, he thought, a rod of God was used, because he said he clearly saw it on a video, something hitting it. So if you don't know what the rods of God are, do some research on that. They are weapons basically let off from our Space Force, and they have the power of a nuclear bomb, but without the radiation and the harmful effects. Another question was, now that the baddies have been taken off our planet, how will that affect the negative implants left in humans? And he said they will be null and void. So if you have an implant from some bad entities, they will be null and void. They're still working on shutting down all the Orion AI systems, and they're really close to it. The whole system will be purged and will no longer exist. He said, guys, everyone out there, so all these races from all over who are out there in our skies right now, some are showing themselves, some are not, but he says everyone out there knows what happened here on this planet. They know what happened. He said we're the last to know, but we will be brought up to speed here real soon. And he gave advice to basically for people to look within, because these families knew we're not going to be looking within. That's the last place that we would look, is to look into our own soul. They knew, they've studied humanity for thousands, millions of years, and they knew, like, we would follow watching TV and movies, and we would idolize celebrities and all this crap. And you have to look within yourself, okay, for the answers. You can't look outside yourself. You need to decide what is true to you. It is your journey. It is your path. It is your life. Do what's true to you. He said, Evan, there's even like the spiritual new age leaders out there have been infiltrated, like everything else. Every system you can think of in our lives has been infiltrated. Okay, so even the new age people coming in, like, be very aware, like I said, but if it resonates with you, then that's your journey, that's your path, okay? But I've pretty much known certain people. I can feel it, I can sense it when I watch them. I know if they're good or bad. And of course, he reiterates that all things are possible. Anything is possible. You are here now. Your higher self, he talked about your higher self is your future self. And I just realized that probably a couple months ago. I always call upon my higher self. When I am in pain and I am hurting, or I just need extra support, like, I call upon my higher self to help me. And I am telling you, I have never been let down by my higher self, ever. When I was younger and I used to pray to God to help me, nothing ever helps. And people are wondering why. Oh, why am I praying and nothing's ever happening? Try talking to your higher self. They will always help you. Why wouldn't they want to help you? You are them, they are you. Okay. He says, take your future self and bring it to you now, and you will get what you need. And you do have the power to do it. It's very, very true. Very true. The last thing I'm going to say that he said, like, there's a bunch of other information. And I'll hold that thought. But anyway, the last thing he talked about was someone asked about Tartaria. And he said that, of course, could be a whole nother show. He said, but this blew my mind because I didn't even think about it. I didn't even think about this. But he said Tartaria was an empire of Atlantis. And of course, the timeline is off 10,000 years, he said. But I was like, oh my God, that resonated so much with me. Because when you see, like, there's certain pages I follow that have all the pictures of like all these beautiful cathedrals, all these beautiful buildings, and they were all made, like the windows, the way they're shaped, all has this resonance with this frequency. They were all able to gather the ether for power. And you look at all these and you're like, yeah, how'd they build those? Because I've never seen a picture of them being built ever. But it makes sense. Like he said, it was an empire in Atlantis. That really resonated with me. So I thought that was great. Anyway, I'm going to end it there, but I love Mr. Alex Collier, as you know, and I really hope you'll support him. Go to he has alexcollier.org. He's got a lot of information on that page, and then he has his Brighteon, BRIGHTEON.com. He has his page there where all of his webinars are and all of his question and answer webinars. They're like $5-6. Go and support him. Support. He's got JP that helps him, and James is his tech guy. Support them. They're wonderful people. Okay, so go support them and listen to some of his webinars. Like, I'm just giving a little bit of information, but the way Alex says it is just it's so right on. I so resonate with that man, and I have for years. So I really, I really do support him. I love him very much. So anyway, hopefully you got some good information out of that. If so, pass this on to other people. Like, subscribe. I'm going to go through some emails because I haven't gone through them in a couple of weeks. But if you have questions, email me at the email below. Like I said, I don't get in there every day, especially with me working now, but I do respond to your comments and your emails. So I love you all very much. Man, we are just waiting for it to turn any day now, any day. A lot of it, we're on the 27th of January. I'm not sure it'll happen in the next few days. We might be looking into February, March. I'm feeling more March time. A lot will be out by then, but hang in there, okay? And just take it day by day. That's all you can do. That's all we can do. And just try to love unconditionally as much as you can and help each other, okay? Times are coming when we're going to have to support each other. Okay, so I love you all. Thank you so much for watching, and we will hopefully see you next week. I may not get a chance because I'm working a heck of a lot next week, and I only have like one day off. So it may be in the next couple weeks. So I love you all. Thank you so much. Bye.